welcome back. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy 2020. I hope all of your 2020 is going amazing. I hope you guys set some amazing resolutions for yourself in the new year. If you guys are setting a fitness resolution for yourself, I have a fucking late Christmas present for you guys. You guys can go to sunandsweat.com, use code friends and family for 30% off all of your activewear, just in case you guys have set some fitness goals for yourself. Cute little gear always makes you want to go to the gym. So you're fucking welcome. So this week for you guys, I brought you a Rikkii story. Now this story makes me very, very sad to tell you guys. Your girl thought that she met the man of her dreams. She thought that she was about to be off the market. I thought a bitch was about to be walking down the aisle. I thought it was about to be lit for your girl. And it was not. It was not. It was not. So I'm going to tell you guys beginning, middle, end of that story. And then, you know, I got a lot of viewer stories for you guys that you guys submitted over the break, which I'm very thankful of. And so we're going to get into some more heartbreak for Rikkii. Anyway, we're going to get into that right now. So grab your popcorn, get your shit, and let's get to it. So this story dates back to about a year ago. Me and my girlfriends, we were going to Vegas for a convention, and we decided, you know what, we're in Vegas, let's go out, let's go have some fun, right? So very last minute, we decide to go to Dre's, right? And we're, you know, in our convention clothes, we're not like really worried about meeting anybody or anything like that, but usually that's when it happens. When you're not looking, they come out. When you is looking, they hide. Anyway, so we go out, and you know, I'm with my homegirl Maxie, what's your bitch, and I'm with my friend Beverly, my best friend Beverly, and who never goes out. So we all like never go out. We stay in the house. You know, Beverly has kids. Maxie's a workaholic, so we just, you know, we don't get out much. So we all go out to paint the town motherfucking red that night, right? We like, yeah, bitch, we gonna have fun, right? So I'm not even in the club for 10 minutes. And Beverly's like she knows me. She's been my best friend since the 4th grade. So she knows, and she's like, ooh, girl, oh, bitch, look over there. Oh my God. I see the finest motherfucker I've seen in a long time. He like tall, he's big, he's tatted from the neck to the ankle. He's swaggy, he's iced out. I was just like, oh my God, this man is perfect, right? Like, I'm like, oh my God, he is like fine, right? So whatever, I don't pay no attention to it, but we end up right next to him. We end up in the section right next to him. So we're in this section and he's in the section right behind us. So if I'm sitting on the little bar, he's like right behind me. So I'm like, how do I get his attention? I'm a terrible flirt. I am like the world's worst like hitter honor person. Like I just don't know how to make a move. So I'm like, I gotta get his attention so he can make a move. But luckily, the DJ spots me out in the crowd, and he obviously was feeling me, so he was trying to like get my attention. So he is putting so much attention on me that I end up getting old boy's attention, right? He's like, girl in the black dress, get up, dance, like, don't be bougie, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, thank you, DJ, this is God. Hello, I see you, God, right? So, Beverly's like, he's looking, right? Beverly's like, he's looking over here. And so I'm sitting on the little fucking bench trying to look all cute, right? And I'm like, Maxie, how do I get his attention? She's like the pro at getting motherfucking. So she's like, just look back and smile and like, you know, just give him a little smile, you know, let him know you're interested. So I'm like, okay. Like, okay. I'm like, I'm gonna look back and I'm gonna smile, right? Now, I don't really know how that rule works because, you know, I look back and I smile, I catch his eye, and he has the most beautiful smile. And so I smile and I'm like, okay, like Do I do it again? Like, how does this work, right? So I look back again and I smile again. And, you know, after like the third smile, I was like, okay, like if you don't come over here and say nothing, then that's it. Like I'm out of smiles, okay? So, you know, I just stopped looking, you know, but I could see, like, because he's behind us, you know, like I'm sitting like this and his section's behind us. I keep turning to Beverly, which she's right here, you know, and I could see out the corner of my eye that he's peeking, but he's not speaking. So I'm like, okay, like I'm not going to look anymore and I'm not going to smile anymore. But, you know, I'm just like being playful, like, oh, I'm having so much fun. Oh my God. You know, I don't drink. So, you know, I'm like holding a cup full of fucking water, like, I'm so drunk. You know what I mean? But anyway, so, finally, like I see him like just staring and he's looking like he passes by. So now he's like in front of me. He's like, come here, you know, bitch, I must have darted up out my seat so fucking fast. I think I got to him before he finished saying the words, come here. Like, I'm serious. I'm like, oh, here I go. Like, the bitch is on her motherfucking way. Right. So, he's like, come here. Of course, he introduces himself. He tells me he lives in Irvine and, you know, we exchange numbers and that's how we meet, right? That's how the story begins. Vegas love story. Anyway, so the next day, of course, you get that good morning, beautiful text, right? That we all know and love so much, right? Good morning, beautiful. What are you doing today? What do you have planned? Blah, blah, blah. Like, let's go have lunch, you know? So I'm geeked. Like, I'm like, a bitch is about to look boy snatched, forgot all about her convention, ditched the damn convention, went to lunch. And we ended up going to Top Golf in Vegas for a little lunch, drinks, whatever. And I brought my two girls with me and it was fun. Like I got to see him in the daylight. He was even finer than I thought. Like, you know, we just had a great time. Good conversation. All was well. You know, I'm like, oh, okay. I see you guys. Anyway, so, I ended up having to go back to the convention later that day. So I went back to the convention and then he's like, meet me for dinner. Like, you know, he was there with his brother and all of his friends and everything. So, we both had like people with us, but he's like, okay, meet me for dinner. So me and my friends meet him for dinner at like 9. We went to STA for dinner and then we all went out to the club again. We all went to Dre's, but this time like we're together. So I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just like, we're holding hands. It's just like, everything's like perfect, right? I'm like, this is just perfect. Like, this is exactly what I need in my life, right? So I'm geeked. We have a great time at the club. And he's going back home the next day. So he lives in Irvine, but resides in Miami. So he's flying back to Miami on Sunday morning. And I was in Vegas for another day. Saturday, we go to the club and then they went to the strip club. I went home because I didn't want to stay out too late with him and him get the wrong idea. So I ended up going back to the room with my girls and he went to the strip club. So Sunday morning, I get a good morning, beautiful text and he's like, come see me before you leave and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, okay, do you want me to bring you some breakfast? You know, because that's just me, a bitch. I like to do shit for motherfuckers anyway. So he's like, no, just bring yourself. Like, you know, so we spent a couple hours talking before he had to leave. And then he, he left. And I didn't know if I would ever see him again. I didn't know what was going to happen after that. I didn't know if it was just like a Vegas thing, but lo and behold, it wasn't, because the next morning I got a good morning, beautiful text. So I get back to LA. He's in Miami at this point and he is just consistent as fuck, right? And that's what bitches love. They love consistency. Every morning, good morning, beautiful. Mind you, he lives in Miami, so he's 3 hours ahead. So he wakes up very, very early. So he wakes up 5 o'clock their time. So it's like every time at 2-3 o'clock our time, I would wake up to a good morning, beautiful text, like every single day, right? So, you know, we're talking, we're FaceTiming, everything is going great. We're planning on when he's gonna come out here or when I'm gonna go out there. He did tell me that he would be back permanently in LA in April. So we were trying to figure out, like, are we just gonna wait until April to see each other, or if, you know, we were gonna like make a special trip to see one another, because April was only a couple of months out at that point. So all is well, right? Until it isn't, right? So things start going to shit. I'm trying to think of how early they started going to shit, because they were good for a really long time. Like, we were just smitten, like, you know, FaceTiming all the time and sending pictures all the time and just like really smitten, really into each other. But I couldn't help but notice that like every time I FaceTimed him, he was in his car. He was, you know, outside in the backyard, you know, picking up his kids, children. You know, I started noticing those little types of things. So I'm like, okay, he had mentioned to me that he was in a 7-year relationship and he had just gotten out of his 7-year relationship 10 months ago. At this point, I had been out of my 7-year relationship for about 2 years. So I knew that 10 months was fresh. I knew that 10 months was like, kind of like, okay, maybe it's not really over, and they had a child together. So I was kind of leery about that, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just getting to know this guy. If he says that he's not with his baby mama, then he's not with his baby mama, right? But I did, you know, start to notice that he would never FaceTime in the house. He would never FaceTime, you know, in his bed or whatever. Just, you know, I start to notice that. So of course, like, on his Instagram, he has old pictures of his family and stuff. So he's not trying to hide her page from me, because he knew that I had his Instagram. Like, he knew my Instagram, I knew his Instagram. So her Instagram was, you know, there and open and clear as day. So, you know, I took a little peek, you know. What can I fucking say? I took a peek. So from the looks of her page, you couldn't really tell if they were together or not. She had pictures of him, but they were all very, very old, 10 months plus back. So I'm like, okay, maybe they're not together, but it was very, very obvious that they were still living together. Now, that was very obvious from her page and, you know, just from what I was picking up from him. But I was like, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. Let's just see if he tells me, or if, you know, how this is going to work out. So, one thing that I really liked about him, again, was that he was very consistent. And I really liked that he was very, very humble. Well, he seemed very, very humble, right? So he had, you know, a career, like he was a successful person, and he seemed really humble to be so successful, and still, you know, give back. And like, he just seemed sweet. He seemed like he didn't let it really get to him that much, right? He seemed. That's the fucking key. So, I'm trying to figure out when things started going to shit. You know what I mean? So I was trying to figure out when would be the appropriate time to ask about if he lives with his baby mama or not, right? So I didn't want to ask him too soon and scare him away. And I didn't want to ask him too late to where it, like, as if it didn't matter, because to me, it did matter. Like, you know, if you're still living with the mother of your child, you're probably not in a space to be getting to know somebody else, right? That's where my head is at. So, you know, I think the first little red flag was that he was, or the second little red flag, because the first one was the fact that I knew that you was living with old girl. So the second little red flag is I start to notice that he's a little controlling, right? I would say I'm going somewhere and he would ask to see what I'm wearing. And, you know, if it was something that he didn't think was appropriate, he'd be like, hell no, you're not wearing that. But I'm not gonna lie, I liked it. I was like, oh, he like a man's man. Like, he telling me what to do and shit, right? And, you know, my ex, I could walk out the house with some fucking nipple pasties and a thong, and he'd be like, okay, I'm fine. Like, you know what I mean? So he's like, you're not wearing that. You only wear that with you when you with me. Like, and I'm like, okay. Like, you know what I mean? But it was cute until it wasn't. So it was at the point where he started telling me, you know, I don't want you seeing anybody else. I don't want you talking to anybody else. Like, you're mine. Like, you know, he kept like that kind of lingo, like, you're mine, you're all mine. I don't want you talking to nobody else. Like, kind of letting me know that he's not dating anybody else, and he doesn't want me dating anybody else either. So I'm like, oh, because the bitch didn't have nothing going on anyway. So I'm all yours, boo, baby. What's up? Boyfriend, you know what I mean? So, you know, then I was like, okay, well, maybe now is a good time to ask about the living situation, right? So I I asked him, you know, and I didn't ask it in like an accusatory way. You know, he brought up that it was her birthday, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, like speaking of that, like, you know, how are your relationship with her? Like, you guys still get along very well? He's like, yeah, like cool, blah, blah. And then, you know, I just, you know, do you guys still live together? Like you know, I think I tiptoed around and like, okay, I'm gonna ask a question. Don't get mad. Like, you know. And he fucking completely flipped it around on me. Like, he was just like, wait, you want me to put my son out on the street? And I was like, no, I don't want that. Like, I was so confused. I was like, I didn't say that. I was just asking. Like, he's like, yeah, her house isn't ready yet. Like, she's getting a house. It's not ready yet. What, you want me to put her out on the street? And I was like, oh God, like, oh fuck, I fucked up. Like, and he's like, why are you just asking this now? Don't you think it's kind of late to be asking questions like that? Like, this is something you could have asked in the beginning. And I'm thinking to myself, like, it kind of is the beginning, sir. Like, it's only been like, I think at this point we had only been talking for like a month. So I'm like, it is the beginning. Like, I didn't want to, what was I supposed to ask you, day 2? Like, the hell? Like, it is the beginning. Like, what? So anyway, he's like, we've invested all this time and now you want to ask questions like this? And I was like, oh. Okay, so whatever. He completely flipped it around on me. He ignored me for like fucking 5 days, 2 days. He ignored me for like 2 days. Like, how the fuck you ignoring me? Because you live with a bitch. Like, I just, you know, I just don't understand the logic. Like, you live. So he used to say all the right stuff. Let me tell you guys, like, when I tell you that I thought this was it for your girl, like, he was just like, yeah, I want to get married. I want to have another kid. He has 2 kids. 2 kids and 2 baby mamas. That should have been my cue to bounce, but a bitch was in love. When I tell you this man was fine, I mean, he was fine. What the fuck is that? Oh God, he was fine. Anyway, so yeah, that was our first little like tiff. Like, that was our first little like argument. And I realized in that argument, like, okay, this man doesn't handle confrontation well at all. He's not a very good communicator, and he's kind of childish, like, you know, to not speak to you for days over something you did. So I knew, like, okay, like he's a little younger than me, like maybe like 2 years younger than me. So I'm like, okay, he's gonna do like the little switcheroo. Whenever there's a problem, he's gonna flip it back on me, and you know, he's gonna act like a child. Anybody that won't have a conversation with you and is going to ignore you, it's never going to work. So whatever, I noticed it. So I obviously noticed that this is a trait of his. Whenever I asked him something that he was uncomfortable with or he didn't want to answer, he would flip it back on me and he would ignore me for days, right? And then he would just pop back up like, oh, hey, what's up, babe? Like, you know, and it's just like, okay. So I started noticing, like, I don't really like him. You know what I mean? It's like our conversations just were very surface level. Hi, what are you doing? Oh, the gym. Oh, cool. Okay, call me later. Like, we didn't really talk about anything of substance. And that bothered me. Like, I don't know anything about your family. I don't know anything other than like very surface level shit. So I'm like, you obviously don't care to know these things, or else you would ask these things, right? And I at this point was scared to like ask him anything because he flipped out when I asked him about his situation with his baby mama. So I'm like, I don't want him to think that I'm being nosy. Like, I don't want him to think that I'm asking for the wrong reason. So I didn't ask about his mom. I didn't ask about his kids. I didn't ask about his family life. Like, I just didn't ask because the time is approaching for him to come out here, right? Like, is approaching. Now, that's another thing that I didn't like, was that he had scheduled to come out here 2 times before April, and he ended up not coming. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So the time for him to come is approaching, right? So we're just like so excited about it. Like, oh babe, I can't wait to see you. Oh babe, I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to finally hug you. I can't wait to finally kiss you, blah, 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 right? In love, right? So, you know, finally the day approaches where he is supposed to come out here. And I knew when he was coming in. I had talked to him the day before. And when he gets here, I hit him like he was supposed to land at 12, and he just doesn't respond, right? So I'm like, hey, did you make it? No response, right? So I'm like, hey, like, did everything go okay? Did your flight get delayed? Did your trip get delayed? Are you still coming out here? Like, I didn't know what was going on, right? and I don't hear from him, like at all. Like it's just crickets. And then I start thinking, like, because we didn't fight, we didn't get into an argument, nothing happened. So I'm starting to think, like, did his plane crash? Like, did something bad happen? Did he postpone? Is he deciding not to come? Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on because he's not answering me. So I blow him up. Like, I blow him up like a fucking crazy person, right? Like, because now I'm worried. Like, hey, did you make, like, I'm going through every emotion right there in his text message. Like, hey, did you make it? Hey, are you okay? Hey, did your plane crash? Hey, bitch, are you ignoring me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I swear I went through every emotion. When I go back and read the text message, I'm pretty fucking embarrassed. But anyway, what the fuck ever. I didn't know what the hell was going on. So I think like 3 or 4 days go by to where I know that he's here and I haven't fucking heard from him. So weird. Like, so I knew he made it because on his Instagram, he had posted, you know, and tagged Los Angeles. So I'm like, he's here. What the fuck, right? Like, who does that? Like, who talks to somebody for 3 whole months and then the minute that they land into town, they just go ghost? So I'm making up all kind of theories in my head. I'm like, oh, you still with your baby mama, and now that you here, it's like it's getting real and you just don't want to go through with it. Like, I'm just making up all kind of shit, right? Oh, she with you, but she not, because I was looking at her page too and she was still up in Florida. Anyway, so 4 days later, after he's been here, like, he fucking calls me, like, out of nowhere. And I'm like, hello, motherfucker, like, the fuck, like, you know. So, tune in next week if you want to hear what the fuck happened with this motherfucker. You know I was going to do it. You knew I was going to do it. The story was getting long. I was like, I can split this one into 2. Anyway, so if you want to hear what happens next with this situation that I thought was the one, you're going to have to tune in next week. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the story so far. I hope you tune in next week to hear the rest of it. Like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend so we can get this channel popping. My goal for this channel in 2020 is to get it to 10,000 followers, subscribers. Sorry, I'm new to YouTube. Subscribers. 10,000 subscribers. That is my goal for 2020. I am putting it out there and I'm really curious to see if I can reach that in 1 short year. That's a huge goal for me considering I don't know shit about YouTube. So please share with your friends, like and comment, and so we can get this channel popping. And I will see you next week and I will finish telling you what happened with this motherfucker. Okay, so I will see you next week. Okay, bye.